Hello, it's a self-conscious author here, and I'm continuing my videos about how I got into writing and how I started my writing journey. So I've talked about Three Silver Bullets, which was the first story of mine that I managed to get published, and the next one I want to mention is a story I wrote called Sheer Hell. Now, it's not something I would have ever thought to write, but where I was working at the time. I worked with quite a lot of engineers and stuff, and one of them was into mountain climbing. He came up to me one day, he said, "Oh, there's a competition in Climb magazine that I read to win a load of climbing gear, but they need you to write a story." And I went, "Yes." And he said, "Will you write me a story?" And I said, "You do know what sort of stories I write, don't you?" And he went, "Yeah, that's fine. As long as it's to do with climbing, it doesn't matter." So I did. I sat down and I thought, okay, I know nothing about climbing. However, I can consult him for tips on terms and things like that. And I proceeded to write this story that I called Sheer Hell. Unfortunately, he didn't win the climbing gear. However, I did get publishing. So Sheer Hell was published on the website of Climb magazine in 2007. Now, if you're not familiar with that story, it forms part of my first collection of short stories, Tales from a Scary Girl, Dark and Scary, and I will read it out to you in another video. But I've got two collections of short stories. So the first one is Dark and Scary. So these are all stories that are based in the supernatural, bar one, because I'd written it at the time, but we won't go into that one. So they're all based in the supernatural, and they explore what lurks between the veil that separates this world from the next. My second collection of short horror stories, do you like the continuity of the covers, is called Darkly Sinister. Now this is different. This book is based in real world fear, and it explains the depravity that exists in the human psyche. Well, not explains, but it delves into the depravity that exists in the human psyche. So if you haven't cottoned onto that, all the stories in here, bar one, see another pattern there, are based around serial killers. And they're all written from the first person, which is a completely different way of writing for me. So there's two books, depending on what takes your fancy, whether you're a supernatural kind of person or whether you'd rather, look at real world fears. They're both there for your delight, shall we say, and I'd be, to send shivers down your spine, to make you reach for the light switch, maybe. Who knows? You won't know until you try. I'll catch you next time. Bye.